Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." But what happens when your imagination turns into reality? When the woman you trusted betrays you, leaving you questioning everything. The Stoics, through their mastery of human nature, understood that some people are more prone to deception than others. Cheating is not random. It follows patterns driven by psychology, habits, and deep-rooted behaviors. Today, we uncover the types of women most likely to cheat so you can recognize the signs before it's too late. Watch until the end, and if this video resonates with you, like, subscribe, and share your story in the comments. Chapter 1: Low Self-Esteem and Dependency. A woman who does not value herself will always search for validation elsewhere. She is trapped in a cycle of insecurity where the approval of others becomes her oxygen. She doesn't just want attention, she needs it. And when one person's validation isn't enough, she will seek another. Her self-worth is not defined by her own perception, but by how others see her. She depends on external affirmations like a lifeline, and without them, she feels adrift, lost in the vast sea of self-doubt. When a woman constantly questions her worth, she becomes vulnerable to sweet words, to the touch of admiration, to the fleeting warmth of a stranger's gaze. She is not necessarily deceitful in her intentions, but her fragile sense of self makes her susceptible to seeking validation wherever she can find it. Stoics teach us that true self-worth comes from within, that no external force should dictate how we perceive ourselves. But a woman with low self-esteem sees herself only through the eyes of others. Her reflection in the mirror is not her own, but a distorted version shaped by those around her. If she feels ignored, even for a moment, she may gravitate toward someone who makes her feel desired again. This is not conscious betrayal, it's an unconscious hunger. A need to feel loved, admired, and reassured. She may not even recognize this pattern within herself. She may believe she is loyal, devoted, and incapable of wrongdoing. But deep down, she is driven by an insatiable desire to be noticed. If her partner fails to provide this reassurance, if he becomes distracted, if he withdraws emotionally, if he assumes she will always be there, she may start to feel invisible. And invisibility is terrifying to a woman who ties her worth to external validation. The danger lies not in her actions alone, but in her mindset. A woman who cannot validate herself will always be dependent on others to do it for her. And dependency breeds instability. She may not actively seek another man, but she will be drawn to anyone who makes her feel seen. A kind word from a coworker, an old flame who resurfaces, a stranger at a coffee shop who compliments her, it all feeds the void she cannot fill on her own. Women who rely solely on their partners for emotional support are at even higher risk. A woman who lacks friends, family, or a fulfilling life outside of a relationship will cling desperately to the nearest source of affection. If she feels lonely, if she senses distance, if she perceives a lack of attention, even if temporary, she might look elsewhere to fill the void. She does not necessarily want to hurt her partner, but her actions are driven by an emotional survival instinct. She needs to feel wanted, and when that need goes unmet, she will seek out the next person willing to provide it. This is why independence is crucial, not just financially, but emotionally. A woman who is secure in herself does not need constant reassurance. She does not crumble in moments of solitude. She does not waver when love feels distant. She stands firm in the knowledge that her value is not dictated by who desires her, but by who she is. But a woman who has never built that foundation will always look for something outside of herself to hold on to. She is not necessarily cruel. She is not necessarily malicious. But she is dangerous. Because a woman who cannot stand alone will always seek someone to hold on to, even if that means betraying the one she's already holding. She may not see it as betrayal, she may justify it as a need for connection, a moment of weakness, or a consequence of feeling unloved. But at the core, it stems from a deeper issue, a lack of self-worth that no man, no relationship, no amount of external affection can ever truly fix. The greatest irony is that these women often crave the very thing they struggle to maintain, genuine love and deep emotional connection. But love cannot thrive where insecurity reigns. A woman who is constantly searching for validation cannot offer true stability. Her love will always be conditional, based on how desired she feels in the moment. And in a world where attention is fleeting, where admiration comes and goes like the tide, she will forever be at the mercy of her own unfulfilled desires. Men who find themselves in relationships with such women must recognize the warning signs early. Does she rely solely on you for happiness? Does she seek excessive reassurance? Does she crumble under the weight of self-doubt when left alone? If so, be wary. Because love that is dependent on validation is not love at all, it is a temporary attachment, a placeholder for the self-worth she has yet to find within herself. The only way for a woman to break free from this cycle is to turn inward, to silence the voices of the world and listen to her own. To learn to stand on her own 2 feet, not because she has to, but because she is capable. Until then, she will always be searching. And when you are constantly searching for something, you rarely stay in one place for long. Chapter 2: Lack of Impulse Control. Some women act first and think later. They don't analyze consequences, they don't weigh long-term damage, they simply do. Their decisions are based purely on immediate gratification, not on principles, commitments, or morality. And when the opportunity to cheat presents itself, they don't stop to consider the destruction it may cause. They see what they want in the moment and take it, regardless of the cost. The Stoics emphasize discipline and control, yet some people lack both. Instead of living by principles, they live by emotions. Instead of thinking through their actions, they react on instinct. The Stoics warned that without self-control, a person is a slave to their desires, and a woman without impulse control is a woman who will eventually betray not just you, but even herself. She chases the rush of the moment, the thrill of the unknown. She thrives on chaos, constantly seeking stimulation without concern for how it affects others. If she is quick to anger, quick to spend recklessly, quick to make major life choices without thinking, she may also be quick to betray. Infidelity for her is not a moral failing, it is just another impulse, another indulgence, another act in a long pattern of reckless behavior. A woman with low impulse control does not stop to think about the emotional devastation cheating causes. She does not weigh the trust she is about to shatter, the pain she will inflict, or the integrity she will lose. Instead, she is guided by a simple question: do I want this right now? And if the answer is yes, she acts. Whether it's a drunken night out, an exciting new flirtation, or simply an opportunity that appears in front of her, she follows the impulse without hesitation. For her, temptation is not something to be resisted, it is something to be indulged. Whether it's alcohol-fueled nights, reckless flirtation, or the constant need for excitement, she does what feels good in the moment, without thought for the aftermath. And when the moment passes, she may regret it, she may make excuses, she may even lie about it, but the damage is already done. And the worst part? Given the right circumstances, she will do it again. The ability to delay gratification is one of the strongest indicators of self-discipline. People who cannot say no to short-term pleasures for the sake of long-term stability will always find themselves in destructive cycles. A woman with no impulse control will not only cheat, she will also struggle with money, with career choices, with emotional regulation, with any decision that requires patience, commitment, or discipline. If she can't control her desires in one area, she won't control them in another. You will notice it in her life. She makes reckless financial decisions, spending money she doesn't have on things she doesn't need. She jumps from relationship to relationship, from job to job, from obsession to obsession, never able to commit to anything long enough to build something stable. She reacts emotionally instead of thinking logically. She is unpredictable, chaotic, a whirlwind of inconsistency. And if she is this way in every other aspect of her life, why would loyalty be any different? Some men ignore the warning signs, believing that their love, their stability, or their presence will be enough to keep her in control. But a woman who lacks impulse control is not ruled by loyalty, she is ruled by urges. She does not think about consequences, she only thinks about immediate satisfaction. And if you are with a woman who struggles with self-control, understand this, it is not a question of if she will betray you, but when. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But at some point, an opportunity will present itself, and she will act. Because that is what she does. That is who she is. The Stoics taught that true strength comes from mastering one's desires rather than being mastered by them. A woman who lacks impulse control is a woman who is enslaved by her own weaknesses. She will justify her actions. She will blame alcohol, blame circumstances, blame emotions, but she will never take full responsibility. And without responsibility, there is no growth. If you see a pattern of irresponsibility in her life, impulsive spending, reckless behavior, a history of making rash decisions, do not ignore it. A woman who cannot control herself will not control her loyalty either. And when the moment of temptation arrives, she will do what she has always done, act first and think later. Chapter 3: Narcissistic Tendencies. A woman who believes the world revolves around her will not hesitate to betray you if it serves her ego. To her, relationships are not about mutual respect or partnership, they are about power. You are not her equal, you are an accessory, a tool for validation, a mirror reflecting back her own perceived greatness. And if that mirror ever fails to show her the image she desires, she will seek out another. She does not see love as an exchange of trust and loyalty. She sees it as a transaction. What can you give her? How can you serve her? And if, at any moment, she feels you are no longer providing the level of attention, admiration, or praise she demands, she will begin looking elsewhere. She will tell herself she is not doing anything wrong, that she deserves more, that you simply weren't giving her what she needed. And with that justification, she will betray you without hesitation or guilt. A narcissistic woman is never satisfied. No matter how much you give, it will never be enough. No compliment is sufficient, no sacrifice is appreciated, no effort is truly acknowledged. She will always believe she deserves more attention, more affection, more validation. And if she is not receiving it at the level she believes she is entitled to, she will feel completely justified in seeking it from another man. She may say things like, "If he treated me better, I wouldn't have done this." Or, "I didn't feel appreciated." Or, "I was just looking for what I wasn't getting at home." But make no mistake, this is not about a lack of love or effort on your part. It is about her endless hunger for attention and control. She does not cheat because she is unhappy, she cheats because she cannot live without constant admiration. The Stoics warned against the dangers of entitlement and unchecked ego, for a person who believes they are above others is also above morality. A narcissistic woman sees herself as exceptional, different, unique. She believes rules do not apply to her, that she is special, that she deserves whatever she desires. And if she has to lie, manipulate, or betray to get it, she will. Her lack of empathy makes it easy for her to twist reality in her favor. If she is caught, she will never truly accept responsibility. Instead, she will rewrite the story, painting herself as the victim and you as the villain. She will shift blame effortlessly, convincing herself and others that she had no choice. He was too controlling, she might say. Or, I was unhappy. Or, we were growing apart. She will never look inward, never admit fault, never acknowledged that she was the one who chose deceit. And if you forgive her, she will only take it as further proof that she can get away with anything. Narcissistic women do not learn from their mistakes because, in their minds, they never make mistakes. They see themselves as superior, above consequences, above remorse. They do not feel guilt for their actions, they feel justification. A woman who sees herself as superior will always believe she deserves more than you alone can give. She will always think she can do better. She will never be content with what she has because she is chasing an illusion of perfection, one that no man, no matter how devoted, can ever truly fulfill. This is why relationships with narcissistic women often feel like walking on a tightrope. One wrong move, one forgotten compliment, one moment of weakness, and she will begin searching for someone else to fill the void. She needs admiration like she needs oxygen, and if you are not supplying it at a constant, overwhelming rate, she will seek it elsewhere without a second thought. The Stoics taught that a man must recognize what he can and cannot control. You cannot control a narcissist's insatiable ego. You cannot make her loyal. You cannot force her to develop integrity. What you can do is recognize the warning signs early and walk away before she drains you of your energy, your self-respect, and your peace of mind. A narcissistic woman will never stop seeking validation. She will never be content with stability. She will never prioritize loyalty over her own need for attention. And when the time comes that you no longer serve her purpose, she will discard you without hesitation, just as she has done to others before you, and just as she will do to the next man who falls into her trap. Chapter 4: The Emotionally Unavailable. Some women do not crave love, they crave the idea of love. They are addicted to the high of pursuit, the intensity of new attraction, the intoxicating game of seduction. The thrill of winning a man's attention excites them, but once they have it, the excitement fades. They live for the chase, but they do not know what to do with the catch. And so, when a relationship transforms from passion into something stable and real, they begin to sabotage it. A woman who is emotionally unavailable fears commitment not because she dislikes relationships, but because she dreads what comes with them: expectations, responsibilities, and above all, vulnerability. She resists emotional depth because depth requires effort. Depth requires her to open herself up, to trust, to give rather than simply receive. And that terrifies her. She keeps one foot out the door at all times, always prepared to escape the moment things become too real. She might not even realize she does this. She may tell herself that she just hasn't met the right man, that no one truly understands her, that she's not ready for something serious. But the truth is, the moment a relationship requires true emotional investment, she seeks distractions elsewhere. Not because she is unhappy, but because she is afraid of what happiness demands: depth, effort, and permanence. This fear of emotional closeness often manifests in subtle ways. She may vanish emotionally during important moments, anniversaries, birthdays, deep conversations where she is expected to express how she truly feels. She might avoid discussing the future, brushing off any talk of long-term plans with vague answers or jokes. She may deflect serious conversations with sarcasm or sudden mood swings, leaving her partner confused and walking on eggshells. But her most dangerous behavior is the push and pull dynamic she creates. She will push you away when you try to get too close, creating emotional distance to protect herself from intimacy. But the moment she senses that you are truly leaving, she will pull you back in, suddenly affectionate, suddenly interested, suddenly acting as though you are everything she ever wanted. This cycle repeats endlessly, keeping you hooked in a constant state of emotional uncertainty. It is not that she does not care. It is that she does not know how to care in a way that is sustainable. She may love the idea of being with you, but when the reality of commitment sets in, she panics. She begins to look for an exit. And this is where cheating becomes a dangerous possibility. When an emotionally unavailable woman cheats, it is not necessarily because she is unhappy with you. It is because she is afraid of being too happy. True connection means responsibility. It means she must let someone in, expose her flaws, and allow herself to be fully seen. To her, this is a risk far greater than losing a relationship. And so, she seeks safety in distance. She creates chaos to avoid stability. She sabotages what she has built, not consciously, but instinctively. She may not even realize why she does it. But she will justify her actions. She will convince herself that she just got caught up in the moment. That it didn't mean anything. That it's not like we were married. She will rationalize her betrayal as a symptom of her dissatisfaction, even if the truth is that she was never fully present to begin with. The Stoics warned against those who fear facing their own nature. A woman who is emotionally unavailable is running from herself, from the parts of her that long for connection but do not know how to handle it. She cannot sit with her emotions, so she distracts herself with new excitement, new faces, and new conquests. And if you are in a relationship with such a woman, understand this: you cannot fix her. You cannot love her into stability. She will only change when she is ready to confront her own fears. Until then, she will continue the cycle, pushing, pulling, running, and chasing. And eventually, when she finds someone else to chase, she will disappear, leaving behind only questions and heartbreak. The Stoics believed that true peace comes from within. If a woman is incapable of inner peace, she will bring turmoil to every relationship she enters. And for a man who seeks a life of clarity, wisdom, and strength, entangling himself with an emotionally unavailable woman is a path to suffering. A man must recognize the signs early, detach himself from what he cannot control, and choose a woman who is not just willing to love, but capable of it. Chapter 5: Easily bored and needs constant excitement. She cannot sit still. She cannot tolerate routine. She constantly needs something new, and that includes men. A woman like this is driven not by loyalty or commitment, but by an insatiable hunger for stimulation. If she is not mentally, emotionally, or physically engaged in something thrilling, she begins to wither. And when that boredom sets in, she seeks an escape. This is not about dissatisfaction in a relationship. It is not about you failing to meet her needs. It is about her fundamental inability to embrace stillness, contentment, and long-term stability. She thrives on chaos. The thrill of something forbidden. The high of the chase. The electric rush of knowing she is stepping into dangerous territory. Some people mistake this for passion, but it is not love, or it is addiction. The Stoics warned about people who are ruled by their desires, who allow their emotions to dictate their decisions without reason or discipline. A woman who lacks inner peace will always look outward for excitement. If she does not have personal goals, hobbies, or ambitions, she will seek fulfillment through external stimulation. And if her only source of entertainment is male attention, she will never be satisfied with just one man. She craves attention, not because she values the men who give it to her, but because she needs to feel desired. To her, validation is a drug, and the high of being pursued is the only thing that keeps her going. She may convince herself that she is just being friendly, just keeping her options open, or just enjoying life. But in reality, she is feeding an addiction. There is nothing inherently wrong with wanting adventure. But when a woman cannot distinguish between adventure and recklessness, she becomes a danger to any man who loves her. She may seek out new experiences, new places, new people, not because she is unhappy with her relationship, but because she is addicted to novelty. The idea of having just one man, of settling into a predictable rhythm, feels suffocating to her. She doesn't want stability, she wants the rush of instability. And here is the harsh truth: no man can compete with that. A relationship is built on commitment, trust, and consistency. But to a woman who thrives on excitement, those very things feel like a prison. She does not see loyalty as a virtue. She sees it as a limitation. And limitations are something she cannot tolerate. The moment she feels too comfortable, she will look for ways to shake things up. Not intentionally, not always consciously, but instinctively. She will create drama where there is none. She will test boundaries just to feel the rush of breaking them. She may flirt, engage, or step over the line, not because she wants to hurt you, but because she is chasing the thrill. The Stoics understood that true peace comes from within. A person who relies on external pleasures for happiness will always be restless, always searching, always unsatisfied. A woman who cannot find joy in simple things, who is always seeking the next high, will never be able to commit fully to one person. What happens when the excitement of a new relationship fades? What happens when the daily routine sets in? For a woman who needs constant stimulation, that is when the cracks begin to show. She will start to feel trapped. She will start to wonder if there is something more exciting out there. She may not plan to cheat, but when an opportunity arises, she will take it, not because she wants to betray you, but because the temptation of something new is too strong to resist. This is why men who seek long-term peace must be cautious with women who are easily bored. If she has no discipline, no ability to sit in silence and appreciate what she has, then she is a ticking time bomb. She will chase excitement, no matter the cost. And eventually, that cost will be your trust, your love, and your peace of mind. The Stoics taught that a man must not attach his happiness to things beyond his control. And a woman who is addicted to excitement is not something you can control. She will move through life like a storm, leaving destruction in her wake. The best thing a man can do is recognize the signs early and protect himself. If she cannot embrace stability, she will never embrace loyalty. And no amount of love will change that. Chapter 6: History of Cheating. The past predicts the future. A woman who has cheated before is 3 times more likely to cheat again. This isn't just speculation, it's backed by psychology and human nature. Once a person crosses the line of betrayal, the mental barrier that once held them back is weakened. The first time, there may have been guilt, hesitation, or second thoughts. But after that initial step into deception, the process becomes easier. The guilt fades, the excuses grow stronger, and the justifications become second nature. Why does this happen? Because human beings adapt to their own behaviors. The Stoics taught that our habits shape our character. If someone repeatedly makes dishonest choices, they don't just commit acts of dishonesty, they become a dishonest person. A woman who has cheated before has already trained herself to lie, to cover her tracks, to manipulate the truth. She has learned how to deceive without being caught, and if she got away with it once, she will do it again. Even if she was caught, if she faced little to no real consequences, she will likely rationalize her actions and repeat them in the future. One of the great mistakes men make is believing that they will be the exception. They assume that a woman who cheated in her past relationships won't do the same to them because this time it's different. She might tell you that she's changed, that she made a mistake, that her past relationships weren't like yours. She might even genuinely believe these things in the moment. But history has a way of repeating itself, especially when no real transformation has taken place. The Stoics believed in learning from history, yours and others. They understood that ignoring patterns of behavior is an invitation for suffering. Consider this: when someone develops a habit of lying, stealing, or breaking promises, it doesn't simply disappear overnight. It becomes part of their nature unless they actively work to change it. And real change is rare. Most people don't wake up one day and suddenly become different. They continue following the same patterns unless something forces them to confront their flaws and make deep, lasting changes. A woman who has cheated in the past has already built a mindset that allows her to justify betrayal. She has already found the excuses, the rationalizations, and the mental loopholes that enable her to do it again. Some will argue that people can change, and in some cases, they do. But here's the reality: true change requires deep self-reflection, personal growth, and a willingness to confront one's own flaws. It doesn't happen because someone enters a new relationship. It doesn't happen because they simply promise to be different. If a woman has not shown clear and consistent signs of transformation, if she hasn't taken accountability, made real efforts to understand her actions, and actively changed her mindset, then her past remains a warning for the future. The Stoics taught that wisdom comes from observing reality as it is, not as we wish it to be. A man who ignores red flags, hoping that love or hope will rewrite history, is setting himself up for disappointment. Do not ignore a woman's past, because it is often a preview of your future. If she has cheated before, the question is not whether she will cheat again, but what will stop her from doing so. If the answer isn't rooted in deep personal growth, genuine remorse, and a commitment to integrity, then history will repeat itself. A man who values his peace, his time, and his dignity must remember this truth: the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. The Stoics would advise caution, wisdom, and a willingness to walk away from situations that show clear signs of danger. Betrayal is a wound that few recover from easily. And the best way to avoid that wound is to recognize patterns before they have a chance to harm you. Chapter 7: Lack of Personal Accountability. A woman who never takes responsibility for her actions is a woman who will always justify betrayal. She has excuses for everything. If she lies, it's because you made her. If she cheats, it's because you weren't good enough. If she disrespects you, it's because you deserved it. The pattern is always the same: she never sees herself as the problem. Instead, she rewrites reality to ensure she is always the victim and you are always to blame. This kind of mindset is dangerous. A person who refuses to acknowledge their own wrongdoing cannot grow, cannot change, and cannot form a genuine bond with another person. The Stoics warned against those who live in self-deception, for they are trapped in a cycle of their own making. They refuse to confront the truth of their actions and instead craft an illusion where they are innocent, no matter what they do. A woman like this will twist every situation to her advantage. If she is caught lying, she will claim she had no choice. If she betrays you, she will argue that it was your fault for neglecting her, for failing to read her mind, for not being perfect in every way. She will never simply say, "I was wrong." A person who lacks personal accountability is a person who is fundamentally dishonest, not just with others, but with herself. She convinces herself that she is justified in every decision, no matter how destructive. She will walk away from relationships without remorse, knowing that in her mind, she has done nothing wrong. And when she cheats, she will not feel guilt. She will not reflect on her actions and think about the damage she has caused. Instead, she will rationalize it, shift the blame, and continue on as if nothing happened. Stoicism teaches us that taking ownership of our actions is the foundation of a strong character. Marcus Aurelius believed that self-reflection and accountability were necessary for personal growth. A person who refuses to face their own shortcomings is not only dangerous to others, but is doomed to repeat the same mistakes over and over. A woman who cannot admit when she is wrong is a woman who will never change. And if she cheats, it will never be because of her own choices, it will always be someone else's fault. You cannot reason with someone who refuses to acknowledge reality. You cannot build a relationship with someone who constantly shifts the blame. The more you invest in a woman who lacks accountability, the more you will find yourself questioning your own sanity. She will make you believe that every problem is your fault. She will manipulate every situation to ensure she comes out clean while you carry the weight of her actions. This is not just a red flag, It is a warning that you are dealing with someone who is fundamentally incapable of forming a healthy relationship. A woman who cannot be honest with herself will never be honest with you. And when she cheats, it will never be her responsibility. It will always be yours for trusting her in the first place. The Stoics would tell you to walk away, to cut ties with those who refuse to embrace truth and responsibility. Because in the end, you cannot change someone who refuses to see themselves clearly. Seneca once said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." If you recognize these signs early, you won't need luck, you'll have knowledge. And knowledge is power. Don't ignore the patterns. Don't dismiss the red flags. If you've experienced this firsthand, share your story in the comments. Like this video, subscribe, and stay strong. The more you understand, the less you will suffer.